Welcome back, Know-It-Alls. This is Josh, and I'd like to say that I'm glad you're here. We greatly appreciate your feedback, so please feel free to message in with your questions and concerns to the email address answersforeverything@gmail.com. We hope you enjoy the show as much as we enjoy recording it, and remember, I smoke weed so that you don't have to. Enjoy the show.
Did you see that like sailboat in Vancouver Harbor?
No.
No.
No. It's just a simple post. It's a small boat, and it looks like that there's a bunch of shit hanging off it and beside it. It looks somebody's comment was, "Hey, look, East Hastings is now in the harbor," because it looks like a home
Uh-oh.
encampment. And then somebody else commented saying somebody lost their house and they still own their boat, so that's all their fucking belongings, like piled onto the boat. So that's kind of cool because now they don't have to pay rent if you think about it. They can just float
Yeah.
around the harbor. I mean, and they can piss and shit off the side. And if you have a
Until
hot
they get
plate,
dealt with.
well, the government, I'm sure, will be like, hey, you need to pay rent.
Yeah, maybe.
Then again, they let people live on the street and homeless encampments. So why couldn't they let you live in the harbor on your own fucking boat as long as you're not docking it? Huh,
In
docking.
the ocean. Docking.
Docking, yeah.
Although if they wanted to
Yeah.
get their house back, they could do a couple docking videos. I don't,
For
Well,
profit?
well, I don't know. I've never docked, so I don't know how much money you can make off it, but I'm pretty sure there's people out there willing to pay for it. People pay for all weird
indeed.
sexual. I mean, they pay for feet pics and people smashing cake with titties, like,
And farts in a jar. Like, what the
right?
fuck?
Yeah,
That's whack.
people pay for weird shit.
That's so gross.
I mean,
Wow.
I bought a lot of weird shit. Like just this week, do you guys see the loaded cereals? Have you seen the General Mills loaded cereal?
No?
No.
So General Mills released a whole bunch of cereals that look like, do you know what Crave is?
Yeah, with the inside chocolate inside of a
Yeah.
sort of a crispy layer.
Yeah, they did a Nesquik with chocolate and then with vanilla on the inside. They did a birthday cake one. They did a cinnamon toast crunch one. They did a Cocoa
Oh, I
Puffs.
did see these.
They did
Yes,
a
I did see
Trix.
them.
So yeah, they did a
Hmm.
whole bunch. And I just Googled loaded cereal. I was like, this isn't gonna come up because my friend who I work with sent me a picture of a 3-pack that he found at a grocery store here, and it has Trix, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Cocoa Puffs. And all I've been able to find is Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Nesquik. So I found two of them in Walmart, and that's all I've seen. And he showed me a 3-pack. So it's 3 bags in one big box of those three flavors, but it's 24.99 for the 3 bags. So it's $8 for
What?
a bag of cereal. So I was like,
Jesus.
yeah, I was like, no thanks. And it's the
That's a
same,
ripoff.
yeah, it's the same package size as just bigger than a bag of Fruity Pebbles. So I was like, no thanks, I'll pass. I
Wouldn't they
bought
be
the,
3 for 10s or whatever?
yeah, but they only have two of them. And the three
Mm,
in this box is two ones that I've never had.
yeah,
So I've only
I
had the
get you.
cinnamon, but I still didn't, I couldn't bite the bullet. Like I can't
No,
justify
just
$25.
wait. They'll come out.
But so I just Googled loaded cereal and it took me to a loadedcereal.com webpage where they have 5 different ones in the States, including Trix, Cocoa Puffs, one called Birthday Cake, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Nesquik. And I was like, that's fucking cool. And they have a merch button. So I clicked on the merch button to see what they had. And there was 3 different packages to buy. One is just the 4 or 5 boxes of cereal. You can get it mailed right to your house. And
Yeah,
it's within a decent price of boxes of cereal.
nice.
There's one called the Lux package, and it is a robe, a blue velvety robe, and you get a jade roller gold spoon with the General Mills logo on it. You get one of each of the boxes of cereal, and the robe comes with two little pocket like buttons where you can actually put your bags of cereal that come in the box as a little snack on the side of your fucking robe so you can walk around the house and just eat cereal out of your robe. Pretty
Oh man.
pretty fucking funny, right? And then they had like some super deluxe one, and it came with all those things, and it also came with a crown shaped bowl, a gold crown, loaded cereal, crown shaped cereal bowl, and the spoon, and the robe, and the cereal. That one was sold out. It was 49.99 US, but
No, you could have been king of the world.
I bought the
Wow.
39.99 US one, which came with the robe, the spoon, and all the boxes of cereal. and shipping was free as long as you got it shipped somewhere close to wherever they were shipping because they said shipping ranges from 0 to $20.
Yeah.
And I got it shipped to my mom's address in the States because they don't ship to Canada.
Oh,
And
damn.
yeah, so in September when my mom visits, I get a brand new bathrobe with a loaded cereal logo like embroidered into it, and I get the spoon and the boxes of cereal. But
Is
I
it
can't.
one size fits all, or
No,
did you
there's
pick a
a small,
size?
medium, large. I ordered an extra large just because I wanted it extra big.
Wicked.
Huh.
So I can't wait to like show you guys the wicked robe that I got with pockets that have little buttons to snap your fucking bags of cereal on to eat.
What color is the rope?
Like a Cookie Monster blue.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
It's fucking cool, man. I bet you Charlie Ray's looking it up right now. No?
No.
Why not? Loaded cereal.
Loaded cereal.
Loaded.
Let's do
Robe
it together.
special.
I just typed loaded cereal. Yeah, it's livinloadedcereal.com.
General Mills launches new, in addition to, they'll see multiple drops through February. In addition to the bowl, robe, and jade roller spoon, each bundle will include extra cereal-rich swag and all three loaded cereal flavors. Zagware. What the hell?
Check out this robe, Josh,
Oh, it's beautiful.
with little
Look at those
bags of.
big old pockets.
Yeah, those are the cereal that it connects to it. You can put your cereal in there.
Oh my God, this is friggin' the bee's knees, man. This
I
is some
told.
cool shit.
Yeah,
That
like
crown looks sweet.
I know. I wish it wasn't sold out. I totally would love to eat my cereal out of fucking gold crown.
Oh man.
That would be fucking awesome.
And
I would
that
have.
jade spoon's beautiful.
Yeah, you can still get the jade spoon one and the robe. Charlie Ray can get it. You can get it mailed to Charlie Ray's, and then he can mail it to you.
I could get it mailed to Ship Happens.
Oh, yeah, right
Pick it up
down.
in 2 seconds.
That's right in Bellingham, or is that
No, it's like right
Mass?
in Sumas. It's
Oh,
right across the border. It
yeah, it's
takes
on the
like
left,
two
right?
minutes.
You
Yeah,
cross. Yeah,
right
yeah.
on the
That
left.
I used to go there all the time. They knew me by name because I was picking up GI Joe toys like 4 days a week down there.
Huh.
Oh,
And
really? And getting
one
them
one
shipped
one of the
there?
coolest things is I bought tickets to see Garbage and No Doubt in Seattle. And I bought
Yeah.
my tickets through like the fan club, but two of the people I was going with worked with me and they bought tickets on eBay and they got shipped. And I realized that they got shipped and they said they will be arriving Sunday, like the day of the fucking concert. But that place isn't open on Sunday.
Oh no.
Oh
And
shit.
so we drove down there and I was like, fuck, fuck, fuck. Like they live on the premises, right? Their house is right on the corner. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, they know me really well. I'll just fucking knock on the door or something. And I pulled up and I knocked on the door and they go, oh, Clay, did you get a package? We had something from FedEx show up like 15 minutes ago. I was like, I didn't know if you'd be here. I knew you wouldn't be open, but yeah, I have concert tickets in Seattle for tonight. And that's them. She goes, yeah, yeah, come on, come on. So they opened their fucking wire gate and I went in and they went into their little storage unit and they grabbed the FedEx thing. And I was like, you guys fucking rock.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, they opened on a Sunday for me. But yeah, I was there like 4 days a week buying getting GI Joe toys because it was cheaper than getting shipped to Canada.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
yeah,
place is cool, man.
Josh, you could get yourself a robe. We can be robe buddies.
We can bring him to whatever
That is
hotel
pretty
we
cool.
stay at.
Charlie
I
Ray,
want I want one
robe
of those
triplet,
robes, man.
robe triplets. We could all sit on
I'm
the
walking
couch.
around with mine wide open.
Yeah. It'd be awesome. We went down to a Walmart in the States. That's 24 hours. We just walked around with our robe and fucking flip-flops and like our underwear, like our boxers, and just ate cereal out of the fucking hat, like the pockets. It'd be great.
Dude,
Pour
I'm just
milk
gonna
into them.
wander around. I'm just gonna wander around the concert with nothing but my robe on.
But yeah,
I
the
think
robe
that would
has
look a little suspicious.
Well, probably, yeah.
you'd be the guy at the front,
Yeah.
right
I'm
against the rail.
streaking. We're going streaking
I'm
past the
gonna
quad.
I'm gonna flash Lady Gaga, and she might flash me back with the same thing. Who knows?
Ooh,
So
that's a
Wow, that's a bold claim.
I don't know.
You don't find her attractive?
Not really. I mean, she's okay, I guess.
She's a
But
little
there's
homely, but I think after I saw that movie,
oh
uh,
yeah,
A
yeah.
Star is Born or whatever, I found her attractive after
That's a
that.
very good movie. Very
yeah.
good movie.
Very good movie. I bawled.
Oh, like a little bitch?
Yep, I cry during movies. I'm in
Oh,
touch with my feelings.
okay. So you're talking about feelings and personal shit right now, are you?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah. I
let's
guess
get
that's a good segue, right?
that's a very good segue for the listener to learn a little bit about the three of us.
Oh boy, here we
I've
go.
got five
Yeah.
questions for Josh. I've got five questions for Charlie Ray. And they get a little bit on the personal side. If you don't want to answer them, that's totally fine. I totally
Yeah,
get it. But I try to find questions that I think would be answerable and not like too embarrassing, right?
nice.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Josh first because he's in touch with his feelings.
Perfect.
His
And
inner Josh.
all
He's in
right.
touch with his inner Josh. Yes.
So Josh, the first one is about marijuana.
Okay.
If weed was illegal with an imposed immediate death penalty,
Yeah,
would you still smoke? So if you're suspected of buying, selling, being in possession, or under the influence of it, would you risk it?
I would risk it.
Instant death. Like the
Yeah, I'm
cop
okay with
can
that.
execute right there.
He wouldn't catch me.
Okay.
I was pretty good back in the day at staying under the radar, back when it
Yeah,
was
but I mean,
illegal.
you
But
couldn't
it
get your
wasn't death.
you couldn't get your head chopped off or anything.
No,
Okay. So if you have three kids, correct?
I do.
Okay. If two of your kids could be saved by killing the other one, would you kill that kid?
Yeah, I'd have
How would you choose?
to kill them.
You get to
Or
choose
how
which
would I
one.
choose the child?
You get to choose which child saves the other two.
It would have to be a family discussion and we'd figure it out together.
So you think the kids are gonna have that discussion with you? That one of them's gonna sacrifice himself to,
Mine would, yeah. We would have to chat it out. Like, if this is the only way, if this is the circumstance, we have to choose one of you. Who's it going to be?
and you
And
think
I already know who would step forward.
you already know who would volunteer themselves?
Hmm.
Wow. I think I got that with my two kids. I've got one that's a little bit more sensitive than the other one.
Yeah.
So
Do
one of
you
them
plan on?
is more
Never mind.
like their mom and one is more like me.
Weird how that happens, eh?
Yeah. Hmm. Well, this isn't about me.
That's true.
So, and you think the mom would just sit back and have this conversation with you, or would you have to keep it secret because you know she wouldn't want
She
any of her kids?
she wouldn't have anything to do with this murder pact.
She wouldn't be able to pick, right?
No, she wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to pick.
Yeah.
She would never make that choice.
When you and your wife called it quits, did it ever occur to you that you should bang her sister or her best friend?
Totally her best friend. She doesn't have a sister.
Okay, brother.
And I remember talking about possibly doing that, but it never came to fruition.
So you talked about it with her or her sister or her best friend?
No, I talked about it with some of my friends, how I should do that and call it like spite sex or whatever.
And every single one of them was like, yeah, you should do that
They're
right
like, yeah,
now.
you should totally do that. And then I never did
Did
because
you
I'm a
not
gentleman.
pursue it?
I didn't pursue it
Do you think if you pursued it, it could have happened?
for sure, 100%.
Oh my God. Wasted opportunity.
I
Like,
know.
I don't think there'd be anything better than every time you saw her, she would know you also fucked her sister, right?
Or best friend.
Oh, sorry, best friend, not or
Yeah,
brother.
in this case, or brother.
Or
Yeah.
brother.
Uh, and fifth and final, have you ever not been caught doing something, but your friends were caught and you just got away with it and watched them get punished?
Ooh, to think about that. I seem to remember a time, this was like late elementary school, probably like grade 6, 7.
I'm with you.
And there was this kid that had special needs. Like he was really weird. He would like every all of us in the class would be on a point system, and one of us would be like number one for a point of time if he was happy with us or whatever. And we were like going over to his house, and we figured out a way to steal all of his toys.
Oh,
And
nice.
my buddy got caught, and I didn't take any of the blame for it.
And your buddy didn't rat you out or anything?
He didn't rat me out. He got in trouble, and I got away with it. And then I can think of another example, which is even better. Actually, we were in the forest and we were like had an axe, so we're like, let's cut down this tree. Started cutting it down, and the next thing we know, we turn around and there's this guy standing there in gumboots, and he's like, "What the fuck, man? This is my tree. That's like a $300 tree." And we were like, "Oh shit, that's not good." And he's like, "Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm taking down all your information. My buddy gives all his numbers out. I gave him fake everything.
Is this
Didn't give him a single.
the same buddy
What?
that got caught with the toys?
No, different friend.
Okay.
So, but I ended up like he begged me to go with him the next day. So we went over to the guy's house and he like made us do manual labor and he got his wife to bring us lunch and some cookies and juice and it wasn't the worst day ever. But
That
then the
dude
next day,
teaches lessons. I like that. That's the fucking way to punish someone, right?
totally like, but the next day I was like, I'm not going back. And he tried calling all those numbers and he didn't find me.
Oh, at least you weren't sarcastic. He goes, "That tree's worth $300," and you're like, "Was."
And we had done this so many times before that. Like we cut down like 30 fucking trees.
Just to
Same
leave them.
same dude's
It,
property or other people's
different
property?
property.
Oh, okay.
My,
Wow.
my sister reminds me of this moment, but my grandparents own an orchard, and so their house is a long driveway from like a main road. I don't know like what long would be. Probably if you were to walk, it would take you 30 seconds, maybe a minute, right? To walk all the way from my grandparents' house down the driveway to the main road. So there's a bunch of orchard there. So you can't really see the street, right? You can hear the cars driving by, but when the trees are in bloom, you can't really see through all the fruit and the leaves and stuff. And in fall, all the stuff falls, you can see the road clearly. But I remember I was up there with my sister and her friend, and I just thought it would be funny to pick up a rock, and I heard a car coming, and I just fucking threw it, and then you heard a smash. Like it was a big, decent sized rock, and I've got a pretty good arm. I've always like won like the blue ribbon and all the like the shot put and the softball throw and all that shit. So I've got a pretty good arm and pretty good aim, and I whipped it, and it went through like hit the windshield, right? Smash right into the windshield.
Oh,
The car just screeches to a halt, and we just fucking book it to the back of my grandparents' house, the other side of the orchard. And I remember I was their little bitch for weeks and weeks and weeks just because I promised I'll do whatever you want, just don't tell on me. But I don't know, fucking maybe 11 years old. But yeah, I was my sister and her friend's bitch for like the longest time, just in the fear that they were gonna rat me out. But I mean, by that point, who's gonna fucking know? Like, you threw a rock to a car at a car. Well, where's the car now? I don't know. It was a month ago. Like, I have no
did
idea.
they get caught or was it just you
No,
guys
they
got
didn't
out
get
of there?
caught. It just made me think about like I ran away and this didn't get caught at all. But I remember being in grade six. So, underneath our gymnasium, there was the guys and girls bathrooms. So when you walk into the gym, you go to your left and you go under the bleachers that are permanently like wooden bleachers. They're built right into
Yeah,
the thing. And there's a gym, and on the other side of the gym there's a stage. So whenever you did like a musical performance on the stage or whatever, people would sit in the bleachers. But under the bleachers was a change room for male gym teacher and the boys change room. And then there was a door that connected to the girls change room, which was always locked. You can never go through it. And there's a girls teacher change room on that side as well. But one time the teacher's door was unlocked. So, and the teacher wasn't there. So we went in the unlocked door. We moved like a panel, and we were under the bleachers, just like roaming around under the bleachers. And we went to the girls' change room, and we were drilling little holes
oh
and
God.
looking through it, right? Like there's probably like 10 of us in there. And I remember one of the girls is like walks up because I guess she saw shit fall off the wall as we were grinding away. And just I remember this big fucking eyeball like right there. They couldn't obviously see who I was because my eyeball was against the hole. Their eyeball was like,
Yeah.
I know who that person was walking up to it. And if she's listening to the podcast, I want to sincerely apologize for being a complete piece of shit when I was like 11 years old.
What a creep.
I'm not gonna say your name, but if you were one of the girls in like grade 6 or 7, I think it was grade seven. Yeah, I was one of the fucking out. We called it Freddy's hideout. We would go there a lot whenever that teacher door was open. But I remember right at that moment that the girl, screamed and got like the gym teacher, and we all ran out, and a whole bunch of people got caught. After lunch, the principal came to the classrooms and said, I need to talk to so and so, so and so, so and so. And my name didn't get called. I'm like, okay, sweet. So all these people got in trouble. Their ski trip got canceled. They weren't allowed to go skiing like that Friday, and I could still go skiing, but none of them ratted me out. And it's
Nice.
right. It's like, sweet. I got to see, girls in there, bra and panties getting changed for gym when I was 11 or 12. And I don't
Not
remember.
much to see at that point, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I just
Just
remember that.
innocent.
Yeah, I just remember that girl walking
Adolescent
up and
shit.
eyeballing through that thing, peering right through the hole. And I was like, fuck. But yeah, I didn't get caught and I still got to go on this ski trip and I felt fucking so guilty. So guilty that my friends didn't rat me out. And my non-friends didn't rat me out. I felt that was really weird.
That is weird.
Well, I guess, I mean, unless they made him some kind of promise, it's like if there's anybody else, tell us, we'll go easy on you. What's the incentive to rat somebody out? Because you don't know what was said.
True, but people that don't like you don't give a shit if you get in trouble, right? They want you to get.
True.
So I assume there were people that didn't like me because, people don't like people.
That's true.
How could they
And
not like Mr. Clay?
well, I mean, I'm a fucking asshole, right? It's the way it is.
We all are at times.
Mm. So yeah, none of these
So,
questions, unfortunately for Josh, were about crying,
No,
but
but we already talked about it anyway.
we did. But I do have some crying ones for Charlie Ray, actually.
oh,
Excellent.
great.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want.
Yeah,
So question number one. Uh, this is a statement. Like, your mom is currently alive and your dad has since passed away. Is that not correct?
that is correct.
Okay. Would you, if you could, change which parent is still alive and choose to lose your mom, but still have your dad be around?
Hmm.
Probably something you've never thought about, right?
No, I have thought about it. I often figured that my dad would outlive my mom, but I should know by our family history that's not true. But usually the men in my family have lived into their upper 70s and 80s, even up in, I mean, I even had one male relative that was over 100 before he died. My dad died relatively young for our family history, at least the history that I'm aware of, at 63 years old. If he was still alive now, he'd be, God,
Is he God?
80, 86 or 87. I mean, he'd be probably, probably if he hadn't died when he did, he probably would have died already anyway. Um,
So you've
I
got
don't
more
know.
time with
That's a
your
rough question.
you've
I
got more time
wish.
with your mom then, right? Like in
Oh
theory.
yeah, yeah,
In
yeah. In
theory, it worked
theory,
out probably better because you spend more time for a longer time with your mom than with if your dad was still around. Like you said, he
yeah.
wouldn't be around.
It's a tough question. There's pluses and minuses to both of them. I'm gonna say that things happened the way they did, and who am I to change what happened? So
Well,
I
I
would
mean,
leave it
if
as is.
you had a
I would like
monkey's paw.
I would like to have a couple of months with my dad to be able to talk to him again, and you know probably have a close relationship with him. I think when he died, he probably thought I pretty much hated him.
Ooh,
So yeah,
Ouch.
it's weird. I live in a family where we all really get along. I've said this a few times. Like we're all very cool with each other. There's not a lot of family tension or beef with anyone, which I think is fantastic because when I talk to people, there's nothing but family problems. So many people have so many issues with family members, and it just boggles my mind because I fucking love all of them. They're all fantastic. But my mom has always taught me, you say I love you all the time. Like it does, because you
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen. You get off the phone, you have no idea. If you didn't tell your sister you loved her when you were talking to her, she'd get hit by a car the next day, or you get hit by a car.
Okay.
Yeah,
My family's the exact same way.
yeah, just don't leave it like you love them, say it. It doesn't hurt anybody. So I say I love
Nope.
you quite a bit. It's not like a relationship thing where I say it to a girl that I'm dating because I don't really do that. I don't let that out because I know from history that's not going to get me anywhere but hurt. So I just don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not a thing I'm a fan of. But with family members, fuck yeah. Like I even sent my cousins I was talking about that Romania trip. So I did a whole bunch of math and figuring out and some mapping and I sent a huge like Facebook message to a bunch of them and I like ended it with like I love you guys. Because even though I don't talk to some of my cousins, I haven't talked to them physically in years and years and years, but you see the occasional Instagram or Facebook post and you like it and stuff. But you got to tell them, I fucking love you. Like
Yeah.
even when I
yeah,
was in like BC or when I like saw you, Charlie, right? It's like I love you, man. Give you a hug and you hop on your plane and you leave. And then whenever I see the boys in Abbotsford, I'm there. It's like I love you guys. Like fucking love
Yeah.
you guys. Because anything could happen. And at
So
yeah.
least
true.
I don't want to, like Charlie Ray said, you left at a point where you think he probably thought you hated him.
Yeah. Yeah. When he died, had was in my early, I was 31, and I hadn't gone through enough pain in my life yet to understand where my father might have been coming from, to understand what my grandfather was like. I mean, my dad left the house like right when he was 17, basically had to have my grandmother sign him into the Coast Guard, dropped out of school to get away from home. That should have
That's
told me something.
Yeah, that's not a
But
healthy
I'm no.
family life.
But as a younger person that was fairly self-absorbed as an only child, I didn't understand or catch that right. And
Yeah.
I hadn't gone through a serious heartbreak, a divorce, or anything that was painful to understand why he had drank so much when I was younger, or what it was like to grow up in a really hard life, because he made sure I didn't have a really hard life. So I didn't understand that. And so there's a lot of things that I understood, unfortunately, after he was gone, that I wish I could have had time to communicate with him. But from the time he was basically sick and diagnosed to me coming to grips with the fact that he was going to pass away, he was gone in 3 weeks. So
I know this isn't any part of the conversation, like, but do you think after we die you're still around? Like, do you think he knows? Do you think there's a like a consciousness kind of thing where he knows how you feel and he's cool with it? Right? Because you've
I would,
probably had a conversation with him not being around by talking out loud, right? Have you not?
I have, and I've had a couple of very unusual and in strong dreams with my
Yeah.
father in them after he'd passed away,
Yeah.
that I feel like maybe he does whatever he is or exists as, or I think so. I've had dreams occasionally where I feel like my dogs visited me. I've had dreams where I feel like my grandma's visited me, my dad, even one of my grandpas, though, really. But I was really close with my grandma, and of course, my dad was my dad, and my dog. I
Yeah.
was very close with my dog, and they're very real dreams that I've had. And sometimes they've been very, it's like they happened at times when I needed them, kind of
Yeah.
thing. They just it happened.
Yeah, man. We're
So
all
it's
fucking
kind of weird
connected.
shit. Yeah. So yeah, and my beliefs on that stuff is that we never truly die. We just shift into something else and morph into another uh
Just energy, man.
something.
There's
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. So
Stuff floating around.
so I've tried to connect more because of that with my mom as well, because I didn't always understand a lot of her either. I'm a I'm a ball of just, screwed up single child, so I'm very distant from people for the most part. So,
Hmm.
no brothers, no sisters, no close cousins, because all the cousins are older than me by 8 to 10 years. So they weren't doing anything with me when I was young. So I
Yeah.
never got to know them very well. They might as well, they're just distant. I'm not close to anybody. And my one cousin who I'd consider the closest I have as family to being a brother was my cousin David, who passed away from that car wreck 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was a rough weekend. I've thought about that a lot. Put my dog down on a Friday, and my cousin died on that Monday. That was a rough weekend. I lost two of the closest things in my life in 3 days.
Yeah, it's not a happy time.
No,
Yeah.
not really.
And that's when you see that pain in the world and then you start to understand things. And it
Yeah.
sucks that you have to go through shit like that to be a better human being, right? Or a more
It was
intuitive
really
human
rough.
being.
So I had to put my dog down, and I had to put her down. She was 16 and a half. She was an old dog. And on a Friday night, and that night, me and my cousin that died on Monday, we had tickets to Jim Brewer that night, and we went and saw Jim Brewer afterward. I'd spent all day with my dog because I knew what was going to go down that evening.
Yeah.
And so I made sure I took the day off work. I spent the whole day with her and just did stuff. And then I was busy. I went out of town on a Saturday, and I went to St. Louis, and I saw Ace Frehley play that night. Came home on a Sunday, saw a band play Sunday afternoon, and then I went to pick up my cousin. We went and saw a comedian Sunday night because that's what me and my cousin used to do all the time. That was our thing. Me and him. Well, a lot of times we'd go to the improv, which was like a true improv, not a comedy club, but like an improv where they'd get up and they'd throw suggestions up there and they'd make a scene kind of
Yeah.
improv. We'd do that. He loved that, and we'd go to that sometimes. And sometimes we'd go to comedy clubs because we get a lot of free comedy club tickets. So we went, and we had a lot of talks, between us, especially about my dog. And I dropped him off on Sunday night, and I had this thing, I had this feeling that I should tell him just, that I loved him and how much I cared about him and I appreciated all that he did. But I didn't say anything. I just said, well, we'll make plans for next weekend for next week's comedy show, whatever. And that Monday, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he got killed. So,
See, and that's why my mom tells me that
yeah,
bit of advice, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
Always say it.
it's such a simple little thing because it could change
yeah.
it could change
So,
someone's last moments on earth, right?
exactly. So I will say the same thing. If you feel the need to say something, and then just say it anyway. Always.
Yeah.
I don't say those words to anybody very much. So,
I sure do. Lots of people to love.
Now you just hand that shit out though, man. You're just trying to get laid. You think girls hear that
you
and they're
get
like, ooh.
you get love. You get love.
I
You're like
love
Hey, look at
everybody.
it.
You're
Look
like
under your
Oprah.
chair. You get love.
Yeah. You get a car. You get a car.
All
You
right.
get a boner. You get a boner.
Question number 2 for Charlie Ray. After your second divorce, did you personally feel like a failure when it comes to relationships? And
Very
did you think that you were the main reason as to why your marriage didn't work out? Did you take it to heart?
yes. My second divorce was much harder than my first divorce. My first divorce, I initiated the divorce. My second divorce, she initiated the divorce. So after the first marriage, I said, I'm never getting married again. 2 years later, I meet my to-be second wife. I proposed to her within 6 months. Now, at that point, my life was just about as screwed up as it is now, I guess. You know, I should never have married her. That's the thing. It was a guaranteed failure from the beginning. But I didn't know the things I know now then. If I did, the internet had came a long way from 2008 to say 2014,
Yep.
especially as far as content, especially about relationship content, especially about female dynamic concept. But basically, if I'd known what I knew about 8 to 10 years later, I never would have married her. I knew it would never have worked because there was actions that happened that basically she lost respect for me. I wasn't making more money than her at a certain point, and basically I just wasn't making shit happen. Which Clay, you understand from our conversations how I can be. So those three things right there, you pretty much guaranteed that I'm going to get divorced. Because for a woman, if she can't look up to you, she can't respect you, if you can't lead her, if you can't do these things for her, she's going to find a guy that can. Because I'm not saying anything against them, her in particular.
Yeah.
That's just women. That's just women's nature, and I understand that now. And so, uh, because of my first divorce, we kept our finances separate. We split our bills equally. It was very much like a two separate people married, living together. It was more like almost like roommates, and never should have gotten married. That was an easy divorce. That was an easy split. I walked away from it. I lost my house, but we split the house. We sold the house, split the money, blah blah blah. It was easy peasy, done. No pain. I didn't feel like a failure. I was just like, well, that was not going to work out. The second one, I went into it because of that, and I basically let myself open up. That's the fourth thing I did. Never open up all the way to a woman, ever. Don't ever let her all the way into your heart, because once you do, you lose all your power, because now you are completely open and vulnerable to her. And if she hasn't opened up all the way to you first, you're now the weaker of the two in the relationship. And I basically kept my heart protected for quite a long time. And I finally opened up and just basically let her in. 6 months later, we were headed for divorce. And so because of that, Do I feel like a failure from it? Absolutely. And I tried. I did everything I could to try to keep it together. I put myself into a financial hole that on other circumstances, why I haven't fixed that hole yet, it's another deal. I could have, but I haven't. But I put myself in a terrible hole that was difficult to dig out of because I was trying to make something work that I should have realized was never going to work from the beginning, and I never should have put myself in that hard of a position. And so because of that, it just about killed me. I mean, it did. Uh, for about a year until I basically had to take that part of me that cared about her in that way and just smother the shit out of it and kill it. It couldn't exist. It couldn't exist, and I couldn't exist with those feelings. It was just pain. So, what was the second part of the question?
I think you answered it.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you think you were the main reason as to why it didn't work out?
Well, when we first got together, I asked her if she believed in unconditional love, and she told me she didn't, and that should have been my answer right there.
Hmm.
Because she was very much two things. She was very much like most women are, and I'm sure somebody is going to write in and say that's not true, but most women are very much transactional, and that is, what have you done for me lately? It doesn't matter if you spent the last year providing. If you haven't provided for a certain period of time, it's time to cut bait and find the next man who will. And secondly, well, the second thing is, and this is also a trait that many women hold, they will never let something that happened in the past go. So despite the fact that I kept trying to
I'm
change,
laughing because it's so true.
it's it's true. I mean, this is the gospel right here. She, me and her tried to make it work, and I tried to improve the issues that she had with me. The whole relationship was me trying to become a better person. I never tried to make her change at all. I'm like, I love you the way you are. If the way you are changes, I love the way you become because that's
Unconditional.
it. It's unconditional for me. It's unconditional. It was not unconditional for her. And when it got down to it, she had all these issues that she was resentful for from the early part of our relationship that even though I was improving, she could never let go of the past. She could never let it go. It was always rising up and interfering with who I was trying to be. And I basically, after we were trying to make it work for about a year, I'm like, can you ever let this go? And she's basically like, I don't know that I can. And I'm like, well, then this is never going to work. This is just me going to be beating my head against the wall, trying to always be better, and yet at the same time being made to feel like a complete piece of crap. And I'm like, that's not going to work for me. I can't go through life like that. I already have a job that demeans me and puts me down. I don't need, to do it at home.
Yeah.
You know,
That's already 8 hours
I
of my
just,
day. Thanks.
huh?
That's
Yeah,
already 8 hours of my
yeah,
day. Thanks.
right, right. And so, yeah. Do I feel like it was a failure? Yes. I feel like it was a failure because I feel like I tried to give it my all to make it work,
Yeah.
and it wasn't enough. Could I have done things better? Absolutely. But, you know, it was never going to work, and it never was going to work from the beginning. And so all I was trying to do was trying to make something to work that was guaranteed to fail from the very beginning. And so it is what it is.
It's like your boat sinking because there's a round hole and all you have is a square piece of wood to put in it. And you keep
Yeah.
trying to put the square piece of wood in it. And you're like, sure, it
And she
stops
keeps
some of the
she
water.
keeps she keeps screaming wrong hole.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
maybe
see,
that was the problem.
that's why you need a really small dick like me because they don't notice that it's in there.
Well, that was what was funny is we'll kind of delve off of this question subject for just a second, but that was what was kind of funny is that when we finally did split up, we kind of were both fooling around with this whole I was dating, she was dating. We were still messing around with each other at times, and we were both kind of getting involved like in that swinging scene and stuff
Yeah.
at the same time. And that was weird. And then, but me doing my own thing, I realized, okay, so this will be really personal. We said this was going to be a TMI type episode, but she was fairly difficult to bring to an orgasm level. And I thought I wasn't really competent at what I
Yeah.
was doing until I was with other women after her. And I was damn good at what I was doing. It wasn't me. It it was our connection. I can't say, whether or not I don't know. If it was just wasn't me. Like I said, it just wasn't the connection. Really wasn't there. We tried to make it work, and it didn't. And then after that, and I started learning new things and doing new things and being with other women. And if I had a woman that had like 8 orgasms, like, and I had problems having her to have one. It's like maybe she just wasn't
They're all
she wasn't
different.
that into me, you know. So well, that was a big boost to my ego, or to my, I don't know what I want to call it, not self-esteem. Yeah,
That
self-esteem.
came at the perfect time though,
It
right?
did. It did. It did. Those couple of years, and we've talked about on the show before, was a really big boost for me that, hey, it's not just, it takes two of you to connect. And if one of you's not connecting, it makes you feel like, and if they don't, I don't know. It just didn't work. I mean, it sometimes worked okay, sometimes didn't, but most of the time it just didn't. And I at least learned from that, because I said, after spending basically most of 20 years with either wife one or wife two, to spend a
Yeah.
few years just being crazy, man, in my mid 40s, being in my mid 40s and experiencing some of the things I got to see and do and saw, that was pretty cool. And then ultimately I got tired of that. I know, like, you get tired of that? Yeah, I got tired of that because it was too much work. And I was just like, fuck this. So anyway, that was most of the answers to the question.
Number three.
Yes.
All right. Number three. When was the last time that you cried and why did you do it? Or if it wasn't a full cry, did you choke up and just push the tears away so that the feelings can't escape? Was it a cry or a non-cry? And what was happening?
Well, I can't really say when the last time was, not because it didn't happen, but because I can get teary-eyed at a lot of stuff. I'm a very sentimental person. So if I'm just kind of feeling down something and I have a picture of my grandma around or my dog or whatever, I just get kind of teary-eyed. It's just who I am. So I don't it's been a long time since I've had a full on, like, an ugly cry, but
Yeah.
my eyes water on occasion, and when I get kind of, tore up about something. My which ex-wife was it?
But there's so many.
What? Well, there's only two. There ain't gonna be. I hopefully I don't think there's gonna be a third. I mean, I might pull that switch where this one dude married a woman. I can't remember what country he flew to, but one country allows, like, a person to get divorced if just one person's present. So he got married, and like the next week he went on vacation, or he like took a trip, went to this other island or something, got divorced, came back and was with her for 20 years. She goes to divorce him, and they're like, "You haven't been married for like 20 years." He fucking just smoked her
Sneaky.
in advance, because he's like, I knew one day you'd try to leave me and take half my shit. So I divorced you right away, like within a week. But you didn't know about it because I went to this island where you don't have to be there. It's pretty slick. But anyway, one of my ex-wives, I think it was my first one, because I would get teary-eyed. I'm a very emotional person. I'd get teary-eyed like at a movie or something, and she'd give me shit like, "Are you crying?" Yeah, and it kind of messed with me, because it's like, I mean, I don't need you fucking giving me shit for being emotional.
Yeah.
But
Sorry to have feelings. I apologize for that.
yeah, I
Sorry
do
for
have
being in touch
feelings.
with my feelings.
Like, most of the time, I smother them and cover them in like a Waffle House hash brown meal. But just
Fuck yeah.
occasionally they do, but because it's easier to keep from having feelings than it is to have feelings.
I agree. I push mine away.
That's
Not me,
called
man.
that's called being a man.
I let them flow.
Yeah. No, I was like, that looks like a sad movie. I don't want to have that feeling, so I just don't watch it.
I like to torture myself in this manner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird, and some people think it's really weird of me, but and you and Clay, you probably experienced this, and both Josh too, because you both have kids. I don't have kids, but I love animated movies, like watching Despicable Me, or watching, you know, I don't know. I love a lot of animated movies.
Yeah.
And because for the most part, they have fairly simple plots. It's pretty easy to understand them, and they're feel good for the most part, unless you watch, like that Muppets movie, Meet the Feebles. That's something completely different. You ever heard of that, Clay?
Uh, no. I've heard of
Josh, you ever heard of
Meet
Meet
the
the
No,
Feebles?
Feebles.
no. Fraggle Rock.
Google that sometime. It's one of the most dirty, disgusting wannabe Muppet movies you'll ever see, and it does
Hmm.
involve jizz.
Oh
So,
my God. No wonder I haven't seen it.
it's I saw that
Starting
movie
to
when I
wonder
was
that I
like,
haven't seen it.
it's very underground and a cult movie. It was one of the first ones like I think they got sued by the Muppets and stuff, but it's a really dirty movie. It's not the greatest. I mean, they're not like the best, and like
Yeah.
puppeteers or whatever.
Puppetry.
You're gonna watch this or watch parts of it and go, "What the fuck?" Because that's what I said, and I was like, "That's the weirdest shit I've ever seen." Anyway, I like animated movies, but I usually watch them on DVD because I don't want to go to a movie theater and sit in a movie theater as a single
With a
single
bunch of
guy.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get a
and I'll
load
be
of
like,
this, guys.
"Hi, mom. I'll watch your kids while you go to the bathroom." No,
Yeah.
no.
Just be like, I'm running for president and I just want to smell your kids while I'm
I just,
here.
I just sit in the seat behind the row of kids and go,
Yeah.
Wearing a cereal robe.
Yeah.
"Well, yeah, that's right." With my
Bring
robe full of,
bring
I'll be
your own
like,
snacks.
uh,
Yeah.
free candy. Okay, candy.
Number 4 for Charlie Ray.
All right.
With all of your kinky sex life adventures, have you ever had sex with someone and they used a vibrator or dildo in your ass?
No,
Does it
Damn.
does it make you sad?
no,
You've had
Cool.
prostate play, correct?
yes,
But no dick-shaped utensil.
no, just a
Hmm.
finger
But would you be opposed to
or a
dick-shaped
tongue.
utensil?
Uh, I'll plead the fifth.
Fair enough. You don't have to answer. I
I'll
mean,
just say this: a massager can do wonders, so I wouldn't say I was adverse to it. If that girl in that photo I
yeah,
messaged you earlier was like wanted to pull a Deadpool on me,
yeah.
I'm not saying I'd say no, you know.
Well, there's two
Be
different
gentle,
kinds, right?
be gentle, please.
Yeah, there's two different
That's
kinds. There's the girl who's got you on your back and she's gently sliding it in and out while she's playing with your penis. And then there's the girl that you turn around, she's got a strap on, she's like, "Put your face down, bitch, we're doing this." Like those are two vastly different experiences.
girl number one, not girl number two.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I will say I've had a prostate massage in conjunction with a blowjob, and it was friggin' amazing. I thought I was gonna hit the ceiling. It was like Hitchcock, like move, bitch, get out the way.
And now you spend your nights practicing to play with your own butthole and penis with your mouth, and you're gonna get there, man. You'll get there.
Oh my God, it's sad to think that the best sexual experiences of my life are all just memories, and I'm not gonna have them again. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, that's not true. You're gonna
So
have more of them.
I don't know that I will, but I can say this: I've got some really good ones to look back on. So
Well, speaking of depression,
yeah,
do you ever get super depressed and ponder life when you eat pinto beans because it reminds you of your dad?
not with pinto beans, no. But you know what? I rarely eat pinto beans.
Is it because
I
you don't want to think of your dad? Because you talk
No,
a lot about pinto
no,
beans and your dad.
no. I mean, well, that was like his number one dish, but I don't really make pinto beans very often because I guess it's not really that hard, but I just don't. It's just time consuming to make beans from dry beans, the way that he would make them and stuff. I eat pinto beans. Like if I make like taco soup,
Yeah.
I'll put a can of like pinto beans or chili beans in there and kidney beans and black
Do
beans and
you think of him
all
when you
the
do
other
that?
stuff. No.
Whenever you don't like when you do there, is there anything that you do or see or like, oh fuck, that always reminds me of my
Triggers.
dad. Yeah, yeah, that's the word. Thank you.
Oh,
Welcome.
when I pee all over myself. No. Uh, there's a,
That's
there's a
good.
there's a reason why I made that joke. And I told you the story about when we were driving with my dad and he was trying to pee in a Listerine bottle.
Yeah,
Have I ever told
yeah,
that story?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's a great story. When your dad is a
Way to put
drinker
some
and
context on it.
yeah, and he needs to pee.
He used
Yeah.
to pee on
So,
me.
Yeah, that makes
you
me
know,
think of the In-Betweeners episode where they're driving to London to go to the club and Neil has to piss really bad, but they don't want to stop because they're going to be late. So he pees into like a soda can, but he tries to put his dick like in the soda can
mm.
so the pee doesn't go anywhere and he slices his
Oh,
dick
Oh,
open
oh,
oh,
and then he ends up peeing
no.
into the can, then they throw the can out, but then he's at the club and it's all itchy and it hurts. So he's in the bathroom and all you see is his back to the door and he's like, "What's wrong with you? Stop bleeding, stop hurting." And people walk in and just see the guy fondling his own junk from the back, talking to his dick because it's bleeding and it's itchy. And then they get a bouncer to drag him out because of it. But Josh, if you haven't
Yeah.
seen The Inbetweeners, it's one of the
Of
funniest
course,
shows.
I've seen
Hmm.
some of it. Like I saw the movie and I've seen like, I don't know, at least a dozen episodes of the show.
Well, there's only 18 or something.
Okay,
So
so yeah,
yeah.
I've
Hmm.
seen most of it then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so back to the question, there's never really any food objects that really make me think of my father. Usually the things that I think about my father is when there's something that I wish I had him around, that I could ask him a question on how to solve something, usually revolving around fixing shit or doing
Yeah.
shit, because that's what he was good at. Uh, he was a mechanical genius. He couldn't spell worth a shit, but he was a mechanical genius. I often thought when I was younger that I didn't get my intelligence from him. I got it from my mom, but I'm very much convinced at this point in life that I got it from my father. He just didn't, he just used it in a different way.
Hmm.
So, but his mechanical abilities were near genius level. So,
It's too bad there's not a lot of
and
patents out there with his name on it,
there is
right?
a patent of one sort that's got his name on it. It's a patent with some other people that's out there somewhere. I've never looked it up or found it, but there was a patent. And yes, he designed several things in the 70s, like he made like things to help himself out, but he never patented or did anything with it that didn't come along until like 10 years later after he built it or made it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, he would anything that he needed he would design or make for himself. Half the time he wouldn't buy stuff, he'd just build it because he was a master welder. He was a master machinist. He'd been a machinist in the Coast Guard in the 50s when he was in the machine and then when he got out, and I think he worked a couple other jobs, but then basically he worked for like over 35, almost 40 years before he passed away with one company doing machinery work. And one time there was something they were going to buy and it was going to be like 25 or 30 grand. And he said, "Don't buy it." He says, "I can make that." And he just made one. They cut him a check for 5 grand for saving him money. They said, "Here's a $5,000 bonus." Back when companies would
Nice.
actually reward fucking people for figuring shit out.
Man,
So,
I've always thought about that. It's like if something costs, $20,000, if you could find a way for it to cost me $10,000, I'm gonna give you 5,000 because I already saved 5 grand on that, right?
right.
Like I'll split the difference with you in savings because it's more savings than what I had any other way.
True.
Yeah, my dad was I, I I really wish I knew my father better, and I didn't. And that's what hurts me the most, probably, is that I never got to know my father very well. And it was hard because I grew up very much he was a drinker, and so my childhood I look back at it now and it's like I probably had literally PTSD from it. Now I don't want to be a wuss to claim that, but if you have an alcoholic in your life, you know that person can go from A to B like in a split second. And I've told you some stories about the experiences about stuff being smashed, right, Clay? I've told you about
Yep.
that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And just out of the blue. And so you walk on eggshells the entire time because you never know what you might say or do that's going to set them off. And so because of that, I had no relationship with my father when I was younger at all. And then when I got older and he got sober, all he wanted me to do is help him do chore shit, and I didn't want to do that. And so I avoided it for the most part. And then I became an adult and I was pretty much out of the house all the time. And then I moved out. And so we just never formed a relationship. And I didn't get the chance once I became an adult, like I said, and I'd gone through some actual life experience to
Yeah.
realize life's not fucking handed to you, uh, to be able to relate to him, to be able to sit down and have that. We wouldn't have a beer because he wasn't drinking, but to sit down and have that father and son chat and connect as adults and then maybe have a relationship. And I miss the fact that I didn't get to have that because he died so young. So, wait a minute, what was the question again?
I
What were
don't
we
think it
talking
was a
about?
question. We were done. It was about pinto beans,
Yeah.
but that was
Oh,
good.
pinto
This
beans.
is
Well, we're still about. So yeah, so I do think about my father. I think about him probably at least once or twice a week. I'll think about him, maybe more. But it's always about me being at the point in my life to where I just never. I've never had a good, strong male figure in my life at all, ever. One of my grandfathers was, this is my dad's dad, was drunk and was mean, was an asshole. And so I didn't like being around him. And my other grandfather was pretty nice. I liked him, but he was kind of high strung and kind of whatever. And I was a pretty rambunctious kid. So when I was around, I made him real nervous, I guess. And so I wasn't real close to him either. So I wasn't close to either one of my grandfathers. And my dad wasn't exactly like I said with the way his life was. See, I didn't understand that he didn't have that from his father.
Yeah.
So, you know, all I know is that I saw all these kids around me in TV shows where they're like, let's go out in the yard and play ball, son. I mean, and, oh, we're going on a camping trip. And I wasn't getting any of that.
It's bring your dad to school day. Well, I don't have one.
Yeah, that never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just never had that. He was just not very fatherly to me. But the thing is that his father wasn't fatherly to him. So, but I didn't understand that. All I knew was as a child, I wasn't getting the things that I saw everybody else was getting. But I was getting a roof and food and anything I got. Like needed, not wanted, needed. And so, but I wasn't getting that emotional connection. Like I said, I think maybe if it was 10 times, maybe even five, that my father ever told me that he loved me. Okay. So he was not a very emotional, communicative person. Plus, because of his workouts, everything else, he'd get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, go putter, and then go to work, come home like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, go out he'd stay out in the garage, putter, come in, watch the news, eat dinner, and he'd be in bed by 7 or 7:30, and I had to be quiet the rest of the night because I can't
Yeah.
wake Dad up. So, like, and where's the space that I ever had time to form a relationship? It wasn't there.
Yeah.
But he did his fatherly duties, and he made sure that everything was taken care of. That me and my mom had a house, we had food, and blah blah blah. But we was not getting emotional connection, and so it's probably one of the reasons why I'm very difficult to connect with emotionally. And can I say that's something I miss? I don't know. I've never had it. So how can I miss it?
Someone's got to break the cycle sometime.
Yeah. So all in all, that's my damn life. And that's all there is to it. Do you know me better now?
I do. I
I
know
do.
both of you better.
Hell yeah.
I hear motivations.
Do you see why I'm more of a stuff person than a person?
I do, but we all got to break the cycle.
I know.
Someone does, right?
Yeah.
Your dad didn't break it from his
No.
dad.
No.
You don't have the children to live like your dad did with you, but you see the connection to the cycle where you can break that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't involve having children. It involves having stuff. You can tell you love it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's true.
Yes. Yes. After this show, I'm going to take this half of the Hulk and I'm going to shove him up my butt.
Oh
That's
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
He'll fit.
You can fit the whole thing, right?
It might be a little difficult. It might be easier to take this arm fist and do it. Like
Maybe.
it'd be like this again. The whole. How many dicks you had in your ass in the middle of the night? Hopefully none.
No, hopefully, but I mean, no
Hopefully.
promises.
Hey, if it was the girl from Deadpool and she was like, "Strap up, baby," or "I'm
So
gonna
she's the
strap
one that
up."
says, "Put your face down, bitch. We're doing this." You're gonna be like, all right, let's do this."
Marina
Yeah,
back room?
but
Yeah.
Deadpool has an advantage. He can pretty much instantaneously heal all
Yeah,
those
but he
tears
still
and
feels the
danger.
pain.
Well,
Right? It's
well,
like Wolverine's claws. Every time they come out, it rips through his skin. It fucking hurts, but it heals. But it still fucking hurts.
Even with those little
God,
metal things he had on in the cartoons. Remember
Yeah,
how he had like a little metal?
yeah.
You think it did anything or?
I
I
mean,
don't know
think
what those
about
are for because if you move your wrist, if you think about it, those metal things aren't in the spot where they were. Your
No,
claws aren't going to go through them. I
those
right.
were
think the
odd.
people who drew
It-
the cartoon thought the claws came from there.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think so too.
out of the wrist. I mean, out
Yeah,
of like out
Yeah,
of
those
like
little
here.
metal things on the
out of
back
those
of the
Those
three
hand.
three
those
nubbins.
claws would be all the way back here to come out.
Well, can you imagine if Wolverine, his claws came out, but his wrist was up? The
Yeah,
claw
they just
would
go right
come
through
right
his
through
Oh,
his
hand.
fucking palm.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
who
I
We're
knows
mean,
talking
better
about
than that?
I don't
superheroes
know.
here, the non
Yeah, I
logic of
know.
it.
But you know, remember those collapsible camper cups? It would be like you could pull them apart. They'd be like
Oh
concentric
yeah,
circles,
flat, like
Yeah.
a
right? Can you imagine
coaster.
it? Could you imagine if that's the way his claws were? That they were just super weak. It's like you hit him, they're just gonna go,
Ching ching ching
you
ching
know?
ching.
Yeah.
So before we go on, we
Yeah.
have
Yes.
lots of questions, and obviously it takes a long time to go through them. I think we should make this thing like a two or a three-parter. You know what I'm saying?
You want to
Yeah.
do
It's already 10:30. You want to do another like today's episode was Clay asking questions, and then
Yeah.
we could do
okay.
another episode of us asking Clay questions, and another
Like we
episode where
don't
we
have to
ask
stop
Josh.
right now. I can talk for a bit longer, but I was thinking of how cool it would be if we turned that into a three-parter.
Are we leaving this part in the conversation so the listener hears our
Yeah,
brainstorming? Okay.
why not?
No, that's fine. So right now
Yeah.
they're like, really? This episode's not over? Jesus fuck,
Yeah.
there's two more?
This is what's called a cliffhanger, boys and girls,
I don't know.
and non-specific gender
We've
listeners.
had a few cliffhanger episodes, and the notes I get from listeners are stop doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well, I guess we could record them separately and then just splice them together, right? Or can you do that?
yeah, I can do that. I can
One
Okay.
super episode.
I
I
mean
don't know.
it'd be a
I
pretty
do know that I have to go pee. So let's talk about this. You keep talking about it.
Talk amongst yourselves.
yeah,
That's right.
I don't have any issues at all if we end it and then carry on
And then the
another
next
time.
guy does it.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can wrap the two in the next episode or whatever you want to do. I just thought it might be cool.
Yeah.
I like three-parters.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not a story. There's no like climax and then a conclusion. There's no intro, climax, conclusion. It's just people talking.
Yeah, it's just
So
people talking.
it shouldn't really matter, even though people might want to be like, well, I mean, we heard Charlie Ray and Josh, where when do we get to hear their questions, right?
That's why you keep people hanging on. They're like, oh man, we haven't heard about Clay's secret
Ooh.
somethings.
Mm, yeah. Ooh, Charlie Ray's back from urinating.
Yeah, he is.
Did you wash your hands?
No,
And now you're
my
touching your
pe-
computer
my
and your
my
drink?
penis
just
is
peed.
clean.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I can touch my penis. I just kind of like pulled my pants down, just shook it around a little bit, drip
Oh,
dried, and
I
walked
usually
back.
I usually put my thumb a little bit over the hole and I spray it like a garden hose to see if I can like drill a hole in the back of the porcelain of the toilet.
It's always fun when you have a hair over your pee hole and all of a sudden it just goes.
Yeah, I had that the other morning. I was like, what the fuck? I don't think it was hair. I think it was remnants of the
Hmm.
sexual activity from the night before, crusted over a little bit.
I always think of me, myself, and Irene, where he goes, "Why am I peeing like I had sex last night?" You remember that? He like hits the fucking like plant, like the picture on the wall.
Hmm.
Yeah, it always
Yeah,
splits into several streams.
yeah. He's
So with the show, we are going to do a three-parter, or are we gonna record three separate parts and release like a 2.5 hour long episode?
I
I
don't
think
know.
you should split it into three personally, but that what do I know?
Oh, well, you could, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think we could probably power it on through the night. I don't know that maybe your question answering won't be as
Oh
long-winded
no,
as mine
no,
is.
we don't have to
So,
like record it all now. I can always splice it together. That's not a problem recording later.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, we're recorded up till August 25th, so we got plenty of time to record and do it.
Okay.
Or we could do it instead of having like a short bonus episode, we can do within 7 days all three parts, right?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
Because
that's kind of what I was thinking. Is record them all
I
and
just
then
don't want somebody
release.
waiting 3 weeks and then in
No,
between
no, no,
this
no.
episode there's a bonus
Yeah.
episode, right? Then they're not going to remember. But
No,
if
no.
it's
I
like
think you
in
should
sequence,
release them all consecutively. Like, like a
okay,
1 day release that one, a couple of days later release the next one, and the next time you release the third one. So put them all in a row
okay,
and say this will be a three-part series. This is episode 1 of 3, and then
Questions and
2 and 3.
answers.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So that's the route we're going to go. So I guess we can say peace out to the know-it-alls for this one, and
Yeah.
next two
Yeah.
episodes, it's going to be questions from Josh and Charlie Ray to Clay, Josh, and Charlie Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like
Okay.
that.
All
Well,
right.
today's this episode was Clay asking questions to Josh and Charlie
Yeah.
Ray, and so next week will be either Josh or Charles asking questions to Clay and Josh or Clay and Charles. One of the two.
Exactly.
Makes sense,
Perfect.
right?
Nailed it.
I nailed it.
We know what's happening. So
Yes.
I guess it's peace out to all you know-it-alls. Thanks for listening. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for wasting your time. Hopefully not wasting your time. Do
And maybe
consider
you
it a
learned
waste.
something about us humble hosts.
That's
And
right.
thanks for listening. Yeah, thanks for listening to the tortured psyche of Charlie Ray and why he is as messed up as he is.
Peace.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.
All right. I'm going to end this one. Our co-host says he only has one bar and it's 3G and the internet's lagging, so he doesn't think Zoom's going to work.
God,
Wow.
that sucks.
Yeah, he's not at his house. He's away from his home.
Okay.
So what do you want to do?
I'm going to try FaceTiming him and see. But yeah, I'll let you guys know. Give me like 10 minutes. I'll sort this out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool, man.
Bye.